We're on the air. We're on the air, which we appear to be now. Look at that.
Oh, good to know.
See, our little northern southern belle here is ready to treat us all, batting of the eyes, giggling behind the fan. She's awesome. That is Miss Sparkles, Pope Sparkles.
How you doing, Miss Muffy? How you doing, Miss Muffy?
I am good. For our viewers, yes, I have goggle face. Yes, it is completely my fault. I went on vacation with my husband to celebrate our anniversary, 16 years. Woot! And for our anniversary, we decided to go to Catalina Island, which I'd never been to. And because I'd never been there, I decided that I wanted to ride outside on the boat over to Catalina. We kind of forgot sunscreen. So we were out on the ocean where there is no such thing as shade for like an hour. And then we were outside on Catalina, well, let's see, we got there at about 11 in the morning, and we caught the 7:30 p.m. ferry back.
Oh, my.
And we were pretty much outside the whole time, hence the goggle face. So no amount of makeup is repairing it, no amount of lighting is fixing it. In fact, I think my lighting is making it worse, but there you go. And it ties in nicely because our subject matter today is thinking is hard.
It is. Oh my goodness. I can't believe, like, it would just be so much easier if there was like a guy like right next to me that told me how to think. Then I wouldn't have to do it myself, and then I could just like cook and clean and not have to worry about things.
Well, I hear that there are some countries where that can happen. It just also means that you have absolutely no rights and can be stoned to death for pretty much any reason.
I'm guessing stoning to death isn't like what I'm thinking like stoned here is. That would like tray suck.
It would tray suck. It would totes be like a bummer. It really would. But you wouldn't have to think. Because everything would already be set forth for you. So, no thinking involved. You just do what your male counterparts, sorry, they're not counterparts, your male superiors tell you what to do, and when to do it, and how to do it. And there you go. Ta-da, no more thinking.
Yeah, that does sound easier. I mean, like, because I wouldn't be able to drive. I wouldn't have to worry about how to, like, fix a car or like how to start a car or anything like that, and political matters I would have absolutely no say in them.
No, there would be no.
So I wouldn't have to.
None to think about, like what's going on our border, where Obama's asking for $3.5 billion. Is it billion? Billion. To do humanitarian efforts at the border for these kids that parents were apparently like, get out, go make your way to America. But mathematically speaking, some of the things that I've read breaks it down to that's about $14,000 per kid trying to cross our border. $14,000. Now, I'm all about humanitarian efforts.
Right.
But are we putting them up in 5-star hotels, feeding them steak every day? For 3 meals?
Oh my goodness, could you imagine that?
I mean, that would be awesome.
For me, yeah, because I'm a taxpayer. I should be able to have steak every day.
Right. Right. But I don't know what's going on, but $14,000 per kid for while they're here. Now, when I think about it, it makes my head hurt.
Could you imagine spending $14,000 a year on your own kids?
I do, pretty much, yeah. The kids are expensive.
That'd be like $42,000 a year just on kids, on your kids.
It's most of my husband's income goes towards the kids. Yeah, for sure. Very little goes to him and I.
Wow. It's that kind of money, just like, wow. Because I know how much I make, and I'm not telling anybody how much.
Right.
None of his business. But I couldn't imagine $14,000 for one person.
Right.
Because mathematically, that doesn't make sense in my world, because when I was a kid...
Oh, right.
Oh my goodness. Kmart, because we didn't have Walmart up in Michigan at that time, so it was Kmart.
Right. Kmart.
And Meijer.
Right.
And yeah, that was pretty much where we shopped. Not anymore. Well, I still shop at Meijer because it's Meijer. If you ever come to the Midwest, you got to check out a Meijer. It's like Walmart, but way classier.
Yeah, it is. It's totes classier.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, my kids, by the time we pay for school uniforms and all the stuff we need for school, feed them, clothe them, and roof over their head. Yeah, I have 3, so it gets pricey. But here's my situation with the thing going on down at the border. Here's my issue, is that it's $14,000, roughly, give or take, per kid on the border. We're not housing them for a year. This isn't for a year. This is $14,000 for like the limited time that they're here. So we're not. That's not even for 365 days.
Wow. I'm not sure I could even spend that amount of money in like Vegas for like 3. Oh, okay. I could in Vegas. Never mind.
Vegas is easy.
You know, gambling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could spend $14,000 easily on a car, a decent automobile for my family.
Oh my goodness! I have never spent $14,000 on a car ever.
I did once. One time, I spent $17,000 on our van.
Wow.
Cash.
I was wondering what it'd be like to have $14,000 just at one time.
Oh, it was
$3.7 billion just to spend.
I know, right? Awesome. No, it was the largest check we ever written, and we actually had to get management override to take our check, and we had to go onto their internet and show them our bank account so that they could see that we actually had the money in the account.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome, and they were really cool about it. CarMax, go check them out. They're pretty much awesome. So, yeah, it was good, but we did that so that we didn't have to have a car payment. Yay!
I like that thought.
Mm-hmm.
No debt. We got to explain that to the government someday. This whole thing about having no debt.
I'm really good at the no debt thing. You know how I do it? It's a secret. Shh, I'll tell you though.
Okay.
I don't have any credit cards. Right. I have a debit card that's a Visa card, so if I need credit for something, I use that. But guess what? Guess what? Here's the deal. I can't charge more than what's actually in my bank account.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. I know. Crazy, right? Yeah. It's a true story. So basically, we live by the rule, if we don't have the cash for it, we don't buy it.
I like that idea.
Isn't that crazy? And
that's just too much thinking, though.
Well, yeah, I know, but really it's not, because all I have to do is go boop, boop, boop. Oh, look, honey, we only have X amount of dollars in the account. Guess we can't go to Hawaii this week.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yes, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. And then I know when the paychecks are coming, and part of the paychecks go into the savings account so that we have a rainy day fund. So if something does happen, like the car breaks down or kid breaks a leg, something like that, we have money in our savings account to be able to pay for the unexpected.
So you're saying the government doesn't pay for that stuff for you?
No, they haven't so well. I mean, kinda, because my husband works for the government, but
like, you're not getting like Obama cash to pay for your life?
I have not gotten any Obama money or an Obama phone. I pay for my own phone.
So do I, and thank you. I got to make a payment tomorrow. Thank you for the reminder.
I was just thinking about that. I'm like, oh shoot, I was supposed to pay that on Friday. It's okay because the bill just came due on Friday. I'm not past due, people. I know what I'm doing.
But back to the whole thinking is hard thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we deviated into money and debt, which has to do with thinking. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I would like to tell people how I came up with this one. How I was inspired.
Yes, please do, because it's really cool.
Well, I'm not going to do the screen share on this one, so bear with me, people, on my reading skills.
Should we do the highlights on it?
Kinda. It was inspired by a Tumblr post, and it was all started with a picture from a kid that signed his name in cursive, and his teacher wrote, "No cursive in the first grade, wait till third," which, whatever, if the kid can write, let him practice as long as it's not on the actual work. He signed his name. But one of the people that responded to this on Tumblr, I'll read some of the highlights. My elementary school music teacher hated the way my piano teacher taught me and how I was more advanced than many of her students, and so told me in front of my peers and my mother that I was not good enough to participate in the state solo festival. She would not give me the form. We had to procure it from the district instead. She also hated how I excelled at reading and playing music for the recorder, and so she refused to give me my belts, colored beads that signify our level, and humiliated me in front of the class repeatedly. She goes on, my 8th grade algebra teacher used to fail me on take-home tests because I didn't solve problems exactly the way she showed us in class. I used methods that we had learned for other types of problems that applied to these. She took points off my test because I didn't bring a calculator, even though I got 100% without it. Because I was able to do it by hand, I had to call my father, who was an engineer, down to school and shout her down and give me my A back in class. And I'll read this last one. My 11th grade history teacher failed me on an essay about the 1950s because I misread the prompt. Except the prompt wasn't words, it was a political cartoon. One of the figures was clearly President Eisenhower, but the other one I couldn't place. My teacher would not tell us who it was. I labeled him as the governor of Little Rock, Arkansas during the integration period and wrote an essay about that subject. My teacher said that no, it was Joseph McCarthy, and that there was a small picture of the man in our textbook, and therefore I should have recognized him instantly. Half the class apparently did not. She ended the whole thing by saying the American school system is not here to educate us or to encourage us to learn. It is here to keep us in line and silent. It is here to keep us from deviating and being our own people and forming our own ideas. Don't let them win. Instead of being taught how to advance and become the best that you could be, you're taught to sit in line with the rest of your coworkers in your cubicle while the boss tells you what to do, how to do it, and when. And that just inspired me that that's how we become in America. When I read about history, there was a lot of inspiration and independent thought that, you know, created what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
But now we got to the point where, oh no, you have to conform into this little itty bitty box, and you're not allowed to think outside of it anymore. Because if you do, you're wrong, and you can't do that anymore. No one is special anymore, or we're all special, so therefore no one's special.
Yep.
And
everybody's a special snowflake.
Which gets me. It's like, it irritates me because though I don't always have independent thought, there are times I do go along with the groupthink.
Mm-hmm.
But I also was taught not to agree with anyone 100%. 80% is usually the going rate of how much you should agree with anybody. I don't even agree with myself 1% of the time. I agree with myself 99% of the time. I give that 1% that I'm going to disagree with myself. You know what I mean?
We all have to have our own arguments with ourselves because that's how we make good decisions. We have to be able to see the pros and cons of both sides and try to take emotion out of it. When I was in high school, it would have been about 10th grade, I think, I took English class, and my mother is an English professor. I grew up learning correct grammar, correct spelling, how to conjugate words, how to put together sentences properly. I'm actually a fairly decent writer. I get compliments on my writing all the time. My mother used to use my middle school writing to show her college-level students how they should be writing.
Wow.
It was rare for me to get anything less than an A on a paper for two reasons. One is I actually can write, and two, I would go over it with a fine-tooth comb. My mom would help me. We would get it perfect. It was always my words and my writing, but she would help me. So, around about 10th grade, I took an English class, and the teacher, I guess, at the end of the year decided to get really, really super lazy, and she let a teacher's assistant start grading all the papers. And giving us the assignments, not just grading them, but giving us the assignments. So we were to pick a controversial topic and write a opinion piece on it. Doing research, citing our sources, all of that good stuff. So I thought about it for a little bit, and everybody was picking the death penalty or abortion or something like that, and I decided to go a little bit around the curve, outside the box, and I picked human cloning. It's a topic that I'm interested in. I've always been interested in it. It just seems like a weird thing to do. So I wrote a whole long paper about it, and I turned it in. I was very proud of it. I've made some very salient points. I thought they were salient. My mom really liked the paper, and so it was also our final paper. It was going to be worth 1/3 of our grade. Overall grade for the class. So, of course, I took a very long time with this paper. Got it back 2 days before school ended, and I got a C on it. This is worth 1/3 of my grade, and I got a C. My first C ever on any paper I had ever written. I was crushed. I was in tears. There was so much red ink written all over my paper that I was surprised he gave me a C. I actually thought he was going to give me an F. But here's the thing. I proofread stuff too, and everything. And when you're proofreading or when you're correcting something, you read through it totally first, and then go back, because maybe somebody says in one paragraph, they explain further in the next paragraph, and so you can't nitpick. The way this man graded my paper, he obviously graded it as he was reading it. And I can tell you this because, first of all, he told me that I was changing my tenses, that I was using past, present, future, all that in one thing. Well, yeah, I was, because I was describing stuff that had happened, that was currently happening, and what could happen. You use different tenses when you do that, by the way, just so you know. So that was his first major critique, and he went all over my paper on that one. But on one paragraph in particular, at the very beginning, I said, when we're talking about human cloning, we're talking about finding the way to make a perfect person. That's the entire crux of cloning people, is you want to breed out, basically, the bad qualities. So who determines what the perfect person is? Is the perfect person tall, blonde-haired, and blue-eyed? Is that the perfect person? So here was my fatal error. The TA was tall, blonde-haired, and blue-eyed. He circled that sentence, the entire sentence, put a hash on the next, next to it, and said, what is wrong with this? Not with a sentence, but with a thought. What happens if everybody's tall, blonde-haired, or blue-eyed? What is wrong with that? 2 sentences later, I go on to say, what would happen to anybody who has green eyes, or brown hair, or is short, or has red hair, or black hair? What do we do with these people? He circles that line across it and says, good point. So I bring the paper home to my mom. I'm in tears. She goes through it. She corrects his corrections. There are Post-it notes all over this paper. It was the most ridiculous thing. I wish I had taken pictures of it. She said, turn it back in, see if we can get a meeting with him to see about possibly changing the grade. But in the note that she attached to it, she had said, I make it a policy as a professor never to change the grade unless there is truly compelling evidence to change it. If you've given a grade, you've given a grade. That's what's been earned. But she goes through and tells him all the things he did wrong. And I brought the paper in, and the TA wasn't there. The teacher was there. And so I appealed to her, and I said, look, this is the grade that I got on this paper. You know how I can write. There's no way. She goes, well, he graded it, so you're going to have to make an appointment with him. Mind you, now we have 1 day left of school. 1. So I get an appointment with him the next day, right after school. I show up. He doesn't. My C stood. I ended up with a B- in the class.
Oh, heads would be rolling if that was where I went to school. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. That I have no words. I would have gotten nuclear. Not only that, but my mom would.
I was so stunned, and when I told my mom what happened, she just said, well, you know that was an A paper. And I said, yeah, I know, but my transcript doesn't say that. I can't, well, go to colleges and be like, no, but really?
Yeah, really, it was a good paper.
I swear. I was also downgraded on another paper by another teacher at high school because he wanted it turned in a green folder, and I couldn't find any green folders when I went looking for one, so I turned it in a teal folder, and I got marked down because it was in the wrong color. No lie.
Because teal is just so far off from green.
I tried, but yeah, I was told I did not follow instructions, and therefore I was downgraded.
Do you know most guys cannot tell the difference between green and teal?
Yeah, no, he knew. He knew what he was doing. And all I could think about was, if you want it turned in a particular color, give us all the color. Like, give us the folder you want us to turn it in on. And then keep the folders when you're done.
Exactly. I've never heard of that before, by the way.
Oh,
not that I was in a writing class or anything, but I've never had to hand an assignment in a particular color folder ever. My teachers were just happy if I turned in an assignment.
I think he did it to keep this class papers together, this class papers together, this class papers together. So, because he taught like 4 different English classes, so he would have each class turn their papers in a different colored folder so that he knew, hey, first period honors English is in blue folders. Second period prose writing is in red folders. You know, I think it was his filing system, but you don't.
But come on, Teals, it's not that far off. Come on.
Stuff together. Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to turn on my light because the sun is setting and I've lost my natural light, so now I look funky. Oh well, now you can see this half of me. And our next May Danes, I promise I'll have a real light that will light me up properly. So.
I don't know. I think one day we should just do it in the dark, where only the light from our computer monitors light our faces.
You know, I always do it in the dark. Sorry.
That's between you and your husband. I don't want to know what you guys all do.
I've been drinking. Are you drinking with me because I'm sad? Am I drinking alone? Am I the sad? Okay, woo, cheers. Okay, because thinking is hard, and this helps.
Jack Daniels and Coke in a mason jar.
Very nice.
And to my friends at FTR, yes, I did put my Jack in with Coke. Kiss my lily white derriere.
Ooh, them's fighting words.
Like they would ever do anything about it.
They can't.
That means they would actually have to get into the car and travel to find me.
They would, and you are at an undisclosed location, much like Mark Levin.
I am in the Midwest Vatican. Good luck finding me.
I am in Sin City. Good luck finding me. Ha ha ha!
Right?
You might know the city, but you ain't gonna find me.
Aren't you like in the basement of like one of those fancy hotels on the Strip, isn't it? Yeah, oh no, you're on Fremont Street.
Hotels.
Yeah. You're either there or you're on Fremont Street. One of those things.
Did I ever tell you that? Okay, here's how thinking is hard. This will tie in. This is funny. So when I told my mom that we were moving to Vegas, her immediate response was to completely and utterly freak out that I was going to get involved with the mob and be sent back to her in tiny little pieces.
I like the leap of thought there.
I know. And all I could think about was, what do you think I would do to get me involved with the mob? Like,
right.
What in my history has led you to believe that is the path for me?
I, in all honesty, if I'm going to go to Vegas, I'm going to become a female Elvis impersonator and marry people.
There you go.
Why not?
It's a job. You could do it here.
Right.
You can do anything here. I love this city. It's awesome.
I just want to wear the white jumpsuit. Are you kidding?
They're awesome. Although I try to stay away from white jumpsuits because I have children and they like to spill things on me. So, you know.
True story. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 pieces is usually better because if they spill something on the top, I can change the top. If they spill something on the bottom, I can change the bottom. You know.
Right.
That's how I work things because I'm a mom. And
yeah. Hey.
Yes.
I know you've been on vacation.
I have. It was awesome.
Have you paid any attention to Twitter and the whole hashtag Hitler has done nothing wrong?
I have not. This is news to me. I saw like a little blurb on it, but I haven't. I have been off of Twitter for a little while here, and yeah, I wasn't even on while I was on vacation, so I have no idea. Catch me up. What's going on?
Well, here's the sad thing. I have only been paying a small bit of attention to it just because I'm like, I could not wrap my head around some of the stupid that was coming out.
Oh, dear.
That, because, you know, hashtag Hitler did nothing wrong, and free Palestine, and, you know, basically, like, kill the Jews. Like, Jews are the only ones that live in Israel. Number one, newsflash.
Really? Because I've been there, and I can pretty much tell you that's not true.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as I know, because I've never been to Israel, because that requires flying over an ocean.
Yes, it does. It does.
And longer than 4 hours of flight in... No,
not going to happen. Okay.
No. Not without, like, a knockout drug, because I get insanely bored and if I have to sit longer than, like, an hour.
Gotcha.
But from what I understand, there's people of all faiths and creeds and sexual orientation type of things going on in Israel. Like, they don't care. Like, come live as long as you really don't harm other people. Come live.
Well, here's the thing. Jerusalem actually has it's divided.
Right.
There's the Jewish section. There's the Muslim section. There's the Christian section.
Okay.
So right there, destroy the whole only Jews live in Israel.
Exactly.
Israel's beautiful. I'm itching to go back. It's been a very long time. I was 15 when I was there. And at the time that I was there, we had an exchange student from Israel. We went over to visit her family. And her younger sister is the same age as me. She and I hung out and went to movies and whatnot. Well, we couldn't drive, obviously. We weren't old enough. And so you hitchhiked into Tel Aviv and went to the mall and then hitchhiked back if you needed to. And it was perfectly safe, and I did it all the time. Nothing bad happened to me. Everything was cool. Everybody was very nice. She said the only people that shouldn't hitchhike are U.S. soldiers that are in uniform. If they're in uniform, they should not put their thumbs out. But everybody else, go for it. We spent 2 weeks there. I never felt in danger. We went to the Dead Sea. We went to Masada. We went down to Eilat. We went over to, where were we? Golan Heights. We went to Bethlehem. We went to Jerusalem. We went to Tel Aviv. We went to a kibbutz for a couple of days. That was very cool. We went to Galilee, which oddly, I went to Galilee, and the only thing we really did there was we went to a water park. It was a little weird, but we were there when Israel was celebrating its 40th year of being a country.
Okay.
And that was really cool. That party lasted all night. I was at concerts all night long. There were fireworks. It was so much fun. And my parents were nowhere to be found. I couldn't find them if I tried. I just went with a group of friends, and it was fine. We were all safe. I wouldn't recommend doing that now, but...
Oh, heavens, no. No, it's amazing how quickly times change.
Yeah.
Because I always wanted to go to Israel, but when like right now, there's no way on God's green earth. Like, if God told me to go to Israel, I would be like, are you sure? Can we work something else out? Because I've seen how the rockets are coming over, and even though they got the Iron Dome,
they do, and it's very effective.
It's really effective, but I'm still going, there's times I get kind of shaken up when fireworks go off.
Yep.
Kind of close to me. Rockets are a whole different story.
Yes, they are.
I don't know. So I'm like, I don't know how I would feel in that kind of situation. So I'm like,
yeah, it's. I can't even imagine. I mean, we still our exchange student and not her family is obviously still there, and I can't even imagine sirens going off and them having to run and hide. It breaks my heart every time I think about it, because the country is so beautiful. It's so amazing, so steeped in history. I want to go back because now, when I was there, when I was 15, I was not a believer in Christ. And now I would like to go back as a believer and see. I saw all those things when I was 15. I saw where he was laid to rest. I saw where he was crucified. I walked the path that he walked to where he was raised. I went to Bethlehem, to where he was born. I went to the Church of the Nativity. I went to all these places, and whoosh, right over my head, because I had no basis in it. Right. And now I would love to go back with adult eyes and with a different viewpoint. Right. I think it would mean more to me now, but unless we go with a tour or something, I can't imagine going over there right now. I want to. I would love to take the kids and go because I think that they should see it. But
right. Since you've been on vacation, our good friend Tony Katz put a video on his Facebook page. About 15. It's called 15 Seconds, which is the approximate time that Israelis have to get to a shelter.
Yep.
The sirens go off saying, rockets are coming. You have 15 seconds to get somewhere. And it showed the fastest man alive. And they're saying he wouldn't even be able to make it to some of these places, even though they're throughout, they're everywhere.
They are everywhere.
If you're not close by, you're not going to make it in time, because it's 15 seconds that warning you get. From what I understand, where shooting them from is so close that you really don't have the time. And also, from what I understand, is when the Israelis strike back, they honestly do give a heads up. From what I understand, they knock on the roofs and they're going, "Hey, we're coming."
They do. So they don't have a whole hell of a lot of warning, but there is.
Well, you can't give them too much.
My personal favorite that I saw today, and I think it was one of our fellow writers, Captain Israel, that posted this, that rockets were fired from Gaza into Israel, hit an electrical substation, but the electrical substation provided electricity to 70,000 residents in Gaza.
Because, thinking is hard.
I want to know the over-under on Israel fixing that.
Right. Because, so much thinking goes into aiming these rockets, which goes, again, to prove thinking is hard.
Thinking is hard, and apparently Hamas has a really hard time thinking.
Right. Because, when you're angry all the time, that's when you think the best. Because
it does.
We all learn when we're really angry, that's when our best ideas come to mind.
I make the best decisions when I'm upset and mad. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I can go to any prison in the U.S. and go, when do you make your best decisions? So when you're angry,
right.
It's like, oh, yeah, because that's how I ended up here.
Maybe we should ask the Incredible Hulk. Maybe he has some insight into decisions that you make when you're angry.
Yes, because Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner is awesome.
As we've learned from him.
He does say that he's always angry. That's his secret, is that he's always angry, and he always seems to make pretty good decisions. So maybe we're wrong.
But he has a way of controlling his anger and not unleashing it. There's a kind of a difference there.
He wants to control it. I mean, come on, just let it go.
Right.
Start singing that song. You're not gonna like it if I do, so let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's pick a different phrase. YOLO. Anyway.
YOLO.
YOLO, because stupid people don't understand carpe diem.
No. I remember in high school I used to pronounce it carpe denim, and it meant to seize the construction worker.
Nice.
Yeah. That was my little Latin there for y'all. Again, since you've been on vacation and you've missed all the wonderful things that have happened on social media.
Well, maybe not all of the things, but I was too busy touring the Queen Mary and a Russian submarine. Oh my gosh. Okay, I just have to say. So there's this Russian submarine that's housed next to the Queen Mary, and my husband is a huge war buff, like really history, everything. And he's like, "Is that submarine still there?" And I said, "Well, if it is, we'll go tour it." I'm not apparently the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree because thinking is hard. And I said, "We'll tour it." We'll. Okay, submarines, just so you know, are small. I have claustrophobia.
Oh, well, praise Jesus. How'd you do?
Well, okay, so the doors to get from one section to another are round. No, they're round.
Yeah,
And
they're round, but they're like this wide, I swear to God.
I first thought, oh, I'll dive through it, and then I'm like, no, then I'd have to tuck and roll. And then I thought, okay, well, if I sit and slide under, no, that won't work, I'll hurt my back. So what I had to do was bend down, stick one leg through, kind of sit down, bend my head underneath, because not enough room, torso too tall, and then slide myself out and drag my other leg through. Now, let me just say, there were like 5 of those doors throughout the entire sub. The hallway is... I'm not a thin girl. So I fit down the hallway barely. Like, if somebody wanted to pass me, that was going to be tricky. I went and sat where the captain and the like higher ups eat. I would have never eaten. It was ridiculous. And then as we went further back, we saw where the mates eat. It is literally a park bench with half a table.
Oh, no, thank you.
It's like the tiniest little thing in the whole wide world. There are 2 bathrooms on the entire submarine, two, count them 2, for a crew of 34. They sleep in shifts. You get 8 hours of sleep, 16 hours awake. Nice, right? My husband got into one of the bunks, slid in, and I'll upload the pictures later. It's like the most ridiculous thing. I'll try to add him to the maid names later is to give some people some reference. But his nose was like that far from the top, from the next bunk. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was so tiny. And it smelled, oh my gosh, did it smell. And I just wanted out so badly because we had just come off the Queen Mary where we literally had drinks at an Art Deco bar on the back of the ship in the middle of the afternoon because that's awesome to do when you're on vacation. And it was beautiful and luxurious and gorgeous. And then we went in this stupid submarine that was like cramped and ugh. But I had to do it because he was very sweet, and he went with me on the ghost tour of Queen Mary, and he doesn't believe in ghosts, and I do. And he was very sweet to tolerate that for me. Because he's awesome. I love my husband. Anyway, but the submarine is small. That is my point to that whole story. Sorry, alcohol.
It's all right. It's all good. Because, thinking's hard. We have to chase the rabbit, trails when we get them.
Yeah.
But back to what I was thinking.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. I'm sorry I derailed the conversation.
That's okay, because, we're girls. This is how our minds, work. Because, we have to talk about shoes.
No topic whatsoever, and we just talk.
Pretty much. This week on Facebook, somebody took a picture of Steven Spielberg next to a Triceratops.
Yes! Oh my gosh, yes! Sorry, yes. I'm so excited about this. It is hysterical. Sorry, go on.
And it was because of that Texas cheerleader that went on fire. Yes, that's her name. And it was kind of like in support of her. And so I remember I reposted it on Facebook, and they're going, oh my goodness, some people, some people's children. I just put some snarky line on there, kind of joking, because anybody who knows me knows that I know who that is. Even though the tagline's like, we got to, make this go viral. We got to find out who this guy is because he needs to be brought to justice. We can't have this. Right. And I thought it was funny, and I reposted it. And some people thought it was real. Some people went along with the joke, and I thought it was hilarious. But my favorite part is BuzzFeed picked up on it and wrote a whole article on it and showed all these people's Facebooks, pages about it. And some people don't understand that we play along with the joke.
Yeah.
I knew that was Steven Spielberg. not, you know, because he's kind of famous.
Who
Not as famous as he once was.
I mean, come on. Who hasn't seen it? It is the greatest movie. I love Jurassic Park.
Oh, it was great. I mean, come on. A dinosaur ate a lawyer. Come on. Well, he was on the crapper. That was one of the best things ever to happen in a movie. But it was... I just found it hilarious because some people honestly thought that he killed a dinosaur, and some people went along with the joke. And it's kind of hard to, you know, differentiate. But some people really thought everybody was as stupid and not going along with the joke and just was stupid. And I'm like, oh my goodness, have we really come to that point in society? We can't joke anymore. Everything has to be taken that seriously. Like, we know there's no dinosaurs. There hasn't been for, by my estimation, a few thousand years, probably a million. I don't know. I'm not a scientist because, you know, thinking's hard, and I'm a girl.
Well, and it all depends on if you subscribe to evolution versus creationism, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's a whole big topic that can be done later, and I think Bill Nye sort of covered it. He's kind of a jackass. Anyway, I'm sorry, Meredith.
Oh, that's $1 in a swear jar.
You know what? This is what I am going to upload to this because it's hilarious and I think everybody should see it. There is a song that Bill Nye had played on his show when he did Bill Nye the Science Guy to the tune of Sir Mix-a-Lot, I Like Big Butts. Now, this line doesn't actually appear in it. I thought it did, but it didn't, and it made me sad when I realized it didn't. But if you remember, the song goes, I like big butts and I cannot lie. Okay, so I thought the Bill Nye version went, I like big boats and I cannot lie.
Okay.
That's not actually in it. But it's all about buoyancy and how boats float.
Oh.
I shared it with Meredith. She'll understand. She'll know because it's hysterical. And I will try to link it when we get this up on Elementary Politics. I will try to link this in the comments section. So people, look at the comments section because it's awesome. I will try to link
we're telling you to look in the comment section because most of the time I will tell you, never look in the comment section.
Never, because it's dangerous. I mean, you know, cause we're evil, by the way, just so you know. Anyway, no, we're awesome. Everybody loves us because we're cute and we're funny. But yes. I will have to link this because it is the most hysterical thing. It's about 1.5 minutes. It's not the whole song, but oh my goodness, it's hysterical. Seriously, I like big boats. It's, oh my gosh. Sorry. That's all right. I am finding all the rabbit holes tonight.
It's all right. Somebody has to.
I should name myself Alice, not Muffy.
You should.
I should be Alice tonight.
That's right. That's what I'm going to call you from now on. It's going to be your new nickname, Alice.
Okay, that'll be my new name, people. I'm no longer Muffy. I will now be Alice because I will find all the rabbit holes.
And there's another joke in there somewhere, and I'm not saying it on air. I refuse. I have not drank enough, and out of respect for the blog site that we are doing this for, I will not say that joke. I will let you at home make that joke, or any other jokes that come afterwards.
You know what? Our viewers should make their own joke about my name being Alice and following all the rabbit holes, and they should put them in the comments section.
They should. It would make the most interesting comment section since I wrote a personal blog about a drinking game.
Drinking games are fun.
And I'm doing really well.
Air quotes, there's no drinking game.
We should. Someday we'll make up a drinking game for our thing. Until then, do whatever you want. Drink every time you see me hit my hookah pen or you see Muffy play with her hair. Make up your own drinking game. Let us know how you drink to us. I know how I do.
Every time I throw my head back in laughter, that happens a lot because Sparkles makes me do that a lot. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You should see us in person.
Stand back, doors closing.
Indeed. Those poor people in the Metro car. I feel sorry for them. But you know,
oh my goodness.
Story.
No, I was going to say, seriously, people, if you go to CPAC next year, ride the Metro with me and Muffy. We are hilarious. We will. I swear to God, the people on every car that we rode wanted to throw us off.
No, they were suppressing their laughter. I could see a few people like covering up, like they didn't want to laugh, but because they didn't want to encourage our behavior. But we were hilarious.
We were. We can't help it. I mean, we had so much to cope with.
Well, and I was sleep deprived because I flew in on a red eye, and I don't sleep on a plane. You were deprived,
and I just got off a plane, and I was just happy to have somebody to talk to.
Yes.
It was somewhat coherent.
It was a good day. It was a good day.
It was. It was an awesome day.
We need to do that again.
We should. We should go to D.C. when there's not a convention that we have to go to.
Oh my God! Can you imagine how much we would annoy people at the Museum of Natural History?
Oh my goodness! We should get hidden cameras for it too. That would be.
Hey, GoPros!
Oh my goodness! I know somebody that can hook us up with how to work it. Her name is Tanya.
Nice. Tanya, help us. Because
yes.
I'm technologically inept. I don't know about anybody else, but I will screw up. There's a reason why I have a Mac. It's because I can usually figure it out, but there are times, even on a Mac, that I have to ask my husband to help me because I don't know.
Yeah, because, we're girls. Thinking is hard.
It is so hard. Oh my God.
We're only supposed to think about shoes and fashion and pretty boys with no shirts on that are all muscly and stuff.
Top Gun beach volleyball. Oh, if only Val Kilmer didn't hit the bottle quite so much.
Right?
That's just.
There are just times I weep. You see these gorgeous guys when they're young, and then you see how they age. You're like, oh, honey, at least I've always looked like this.
Yeah. I mean, I drink, but I clearly do not drink as much as Val Kilmer has because scary.
Right.
And it's sad because if you see in Willow, oh my gosh, have you ever seen the movie Willow?
I think I've seen parts of it, but I don't remember seeing the whole thing.
No, you need to watch the whole thing because it's awesome. It's one of the most awesome movies. And okay, just a little segue because we have a few minutes here. Okay, rabbit hole, Alice. Anyway, Willow, one of my personal top 10 movies. Absolutely love the movie. It feeds into my fantasy fairy tale side. I love it, love it, love it. Love everybody who's in it. Fascinating movie. So it came out in the States, and I saw it twice. Boom, right away. First week it was out, I went to see it twice in the theater. Then we took this big long trip. Same trip that I went to Israel. We went to London. I sound like a priss. We took this big long trip. We went to London, Paris, and Israel, and it was a month long. And please don't judge me. We saved up for a really long time for it. It was a really important trip. Anyway, so we're in London. It's our first day on this trip. We have jet lag, crazy jet lag. We go to Victoria Station to figure out what train we need to take to get to our hotel. And I go to use the restroom. My mom, we kind of scatter a little bit. I come back, and my parents are talking to this very nice couple, which is not unusual. I do this too when I'm on vacation. I just strike up conversations with weird people. And my parents are just talking with him, whatever, and I saddle up to my dad because I'm a daddy's girl. And he breaks away from the conversation for a second, and he leans down and he says, well, I'm not sure how to tell you this, but I think the gal from Willow just walked up those stairs. What? Which gal? Who are you talking about? There's 30 women in the movie. Who are you talking about?
The one with the hair in the face.
Right. So it turns out that the gal my dad is talking about is the woman who plays Willow's wife, who happens to be a little person. The people my parents are talking to are her parents.
No.
They are on their way, I kid you not, to the London premiere of Willow. Julie Peters is her name. She comes down the stairs. I'm like, fangirl, crazy fangirl. She signs a business card for me. She's so sweet. I talked to her. She goes, oh, you know the movie? I said, well, yeah, I've seen it twice. She goes, twice? How have you seen it twice? It hasn't premiered in London yet. I said, well, I mean, it's been out in the States for a week, and I really love the movie, and I've seen it twice. She goes, oh, well, if you're not doing anything, why don't you be my guest and come to the premiere in London of Willow? What?
Yeah, what?
Well, I'm 15. I can't just wander off. It's, you know, my parents sort of have say over what I do. But I'm thinking, there's no way my mom's going to deny me this opportunity. It's a movie premiere. One of the stars of the movie is inviting me to go with her. Steven Spielberg is going to be there. Ron Howard's going to be there. Warwick Davis is going to be there. Val Kilmer's going to be there. Oh, my goodness, I need to go to this thing. Nope, I was denied. I was told that I was going to be too tired and that there's no possible way that I could go. That close, people. That close to going to a movie premiere with one of the stars of the movie to one of the biggest movies in my life. Denied. Here.
Damn it.
And then later that day, my sister and I were laughing hysterically because my mom repeatedly kept asking us to push her over the trash can.
Okay.
She wanted us to push the trash can over to her, but the English professor, remember we discussed this, she's an English professor, kept saying, push me over the trash can, which sent my sister and I into hysterics.
I could see why, yeah.
Yeah. She was peeling an orange and she wanted to throw the orange peels away. So, yeah, instead of going to a Hollywood movie premiere in London with one of the stars of the movie to meet some very influential people, I was laughing hysterically because my mother was asking me to go push her over the trash can.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, good Lord.
That's my... Yay!
Yay! I have no stories like that. I live in a small town. I never leave. I rarely travel because apparently traveling takes money. And what's money?
I has no money now. That wasn't my money back then. That was my parents' money.
Well, right. My parents didn't have. That's a whole different story about my parents and money. We won't discuss that on air.
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
There's a slight chance they might actually get this far into the podcast. I love my family. We're like, yeah, we watch your podcast. We only get 15 or 20 minutes into it, though. I'm like, really? Because some of the better stuff's at the end.
Oh, my gosh. You got to wait till the end. We're hysterical.
Right. I'm like, give us a chance to get really drunk, and then stuff comes out.
The first 15 minutes is just warm-up. The other 45 is where the good stuff happens.
Right? Someday they'll learn. I think they're just kind of used to me by now, so they're just like, we know how funny she is.
Yeah, but how does that mean? They need to
True story. True story. Even though I had to tell you, I did wear my tutu to the 4th of July fireworks display that my family did.
Ooh.
Which was fun. And then I went to light a sparkler.
Yeah,
Sparkler.
and
then I remember I'm wearing a tutu, and it's quite flammable. So here I am, arm outstretched like this, trying to. I'm like, I can't do anything fun with it because my arm has to be out like this, not to set myself on fire. I'm like, I did not think this through. I'm like, but oh well.
By the way, people, viewers, Beautifly Wings is the most awesomest person on the planet because she made my tutus for EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival, and if you don't know what that is, you can. It's fine because you can look up my review and whatever about it on Elementary Politics. I mean, you've found us already, so clearly you know the site. Just look at my pieces. You'll find the one on EDC. It's awesome. I'm going next year.
I might go someday. I don't know.
You should come out here and go with me next year. I have like 10 girlfriends that have told me, I'm going with you next year. Okay,
I tell you what.
All 4 years ago.
I'll tell you what. If God will let me win the lottery, so I don't have to worry about vacation days from work and money, I would still do it.
If you win the lottery, I'll pay for half of it. I will pony up half the money, you pony up the other half, and we get a table at EDC.
Ooh.
Unlimited alcohol.
Oh, bam, there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
and it comes with like 6 tickets, too. So you, me, and my husband, and then 3 other lucky winners. Who wants to hang out with the May Dames?
Right? Exactly. We're hilarious. And plus, we'll look fabulous because I saw the outfits you wore, so I have to look as equally as fabulous.
And next year I'm going as Disney princesses. Slutty Disney princesses, by the way, just so you know.
True story. Well, our time is like almost up.
I know.
Do you have any final thoughts?
What? Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Because, you know, things hard.
People, by the way, just so that you know, it's like super important. Just learn from my problems. Sunscreen. Look into it. It's really an awesome product. Apply it to your face so that you don't look like me.
And every 2 hours. Reapply every 2 hours.
Yeah, every 2 hours. But at least once would be helpful.
Yes.
I did not, and now this may gross some of you out, but because I didn't, I burned my forehead so badly, it's actually oozing because it's healing. It's an actual burn, people. Burn. Sunscreen. Or a hat. A hat. A hat works too.
Right? And hats are always fashionable.
That's it. That's all I have.
Because thinking is hard, my last thought is try something different. Do something that you've never done before. Awaken your brain. I spent most of today watching Brain Games on National Geographic Channel. I absolutely love that show. If you've never watched it, watch an episode. If you haven't watched that, watch Outrageous Acts of Science on, I think it's the Science Channel probably, or Discovery. Watch these kind of shows because you learn something, you get to create little wrinkles in your brain. Do something outside your box. Expand your mind. There's more out of there than what the media and these force-fed TV shows are trying to tell you. There's more to life. I hate groupthink. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little bit different. I don't like being confined. I like to be independent. So that's all I got.
Sweet. Sweet.
I think we covered some things.
I think we did, and our audience is probably very thankful that we did. Next May Dames, I promise we'll have a little bit more of a theme and like we'll think it through a little bit more. But until then, you can find our free thought. I can be found on Twitter at InDepthGirlism. Boop, right down there. You can see it. You can also find me as Independent Girlism on Elementary Politics, and less so on Misfit Politics. Give them a little plug because they're awesome. And again, if you know my real name, hint, it is not Muffy, and it is not Alice. But if you do know my real name, you can find me on Facebook, and I'm there all the time.
As for me, you can find me at Beautifly Wings on Twitter, or I don't really add people on Facebook, but you also can find me at Pope Sparkles on Tumblr, and I do some blogging over there. And you can also find me at my other blog site called Real Raw. .us are right there too.
Nice.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, people. Details Box. Mwah.
Mwah.
Good night.